It's the TMZ Behind the Bar podcast with the TMZ lawyers, Jason Beckerman and Derek Kaufman.
For years, Kylie Jenner gained fame as the adorable sidekick to her famous older sisters. You know them? Kim, Kylie?
I'm familiar
Kim,
with their work.
Chloe. Then in 2013, she burst forward, launching the first of many product lines under the PacSun label with her sister Kendall, followed by a jewelry collection, shoes, Derek's hair extensions, a skincare line called Nip and Fab, a clothing line called Kendall and Kylie. Through this and other ventures, Kylie has become, I think we can agree, a bona fide superstar.
She is the biggest Jenner without question.
Well, that's
she brought the Jenner name to the forefront.
Not even close in Jenner. I think arguably she is the biggest Kardashian Jenner.
She started to make that argument, right?
Yeah.
You have to sort of acknowledge that Kim is
entering
a new phase.
She's on hiatus right now.
That's right.
And I think
Kylie is ascendant.
Yeah, Chloe is also ascendant as well from a higher perch to begin with. So it's interesting, but arguably the most famous, marketable Kardashian of them all. Kylie has appeared on the covers of Vogue and Cosmo. She's earned millions from club and TV appearances. She's dated superstars. Hell, she even co-authored a science fiction novel.
That.
You told me to look that up, and I forgot to look up the name of it.
What I found most interesting about that is she speaks so few words. If you follow Kylie on Instagram, which I do, it's all emojis.
Yeah.
But yet she wrote a book. She co-authored a book. I've never heard her speak more than 3 words.
She co-authored a book.
Together.
It was ghost-written by someone. I'm doing a disservice now by not knowing the name.
Rebel City of Indra.
No, of course. The Rebel City of Indra. Which
it's the last installment of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right, it was turned into a major YouTube motion picture. And
big budget.
Big budget film.
Yeah, lots of ads run against it.
So nowhere has Kylie capitalized on her fame more clearly than in the promotion of Kylie Cosmetics, and in particular her self-titled lip kit line, which by all published accounts has netted her millions and millions of dollars in profits.
The lip kit line is huge, Jason.
It's huge.
It's Donald Trump huge. I mean, this thing it had a rocky start. Do you remember with the Better Business Bureau? People were complaining, but then it hit its stride, and this thing is making money hand over fist.
It's making money hand over fist. As a matter of fact, I purchased one for my wife for Christmas.
Do you really?
I have.
She got a lip kit?
She got a lip kit.
Not for your kids yet, though.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
No, my
Although
kids.
that's coming, dude.
No.
They're going to have Kylie lips before you know it. Nice plump.
Stop. So it's the lip kit, or more precisely, her allegedly illegal marketing of it, that is the subject of this week's podcast. I'm Jason Beckerman.
And I'm Derek Kaufman.
Derek, what is going on here with Kylie and her lip kit?
So Kylie and the lip kit, she's got this fancy lip kit. It's been a huge business success. She's got an enemy now. So someone out there named Vlada Haggerty, who is this cosmetician. She's got her own Instagram page. She, does makeup and sort of a name in the makeup biz.
And she's quite an artist, too.
She is.
Her Instagram page is really impressive from what I saw. There's some terrific stuff out there.
It's basically a display of all of her artistic creations. She does makeup that is very interesting to look at, and she posts it all over her Instagram page. Well, she's accusing Kylie of jacking some of her most famous creations. So she has the series of photographs that are, I think they look a little goth, but I think that makes me sound aged. And when I say it's goth, there are these pictures that are highly stylized with
a lot of
bleeding,
dripping textures,
lips.
Almost sort of like Dali kind of stuff.
A bit of melting sort of people, if you will. And she says Kylie has been taking these from my Instagram account and putting them all over her own account, copying my pieces of art.
So, and not only is she saying it,
I want to sue her.
It's undeniably true that this has happened. Well, can you describe for us, and I don't know the story nearly as well as you do, but describe for us, I think there's 2 pictures in particular that Vlada created.
That's right.
That Kylie then created very similar imagery for her own Instagram page and her own promotion of her lip kit.
Yep.
And posted it out there. So can you describe the 2 pictures for us?
Yeah, let's take them in turn. So the first one is a picture of a woman holding her hands over her eyes, and her fingers are painted gold, and she has long fingernails, and her lips are sort of slightly apart, and they're painted red. And it's just a picture of a woman covering her eyes.
Close up on the face, you can see
it's
from the
tight
head
shot,
to the bottom of the lips. Fingers in both images are going across the eyes. The nose is exposed, and really heavily painted red lips.
Smooth skin, and then the lips really pop out. The lips and the fingers. Now, if you're really nitpicking, Vlada's version looks a little bit matte. If you were to say the lips look maybe duller, and in Kylie's version there is a higher gloss.
Kylie's version.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kylie's is more matte.
Yeah.
Vlada's is a high gloss.
Okay.
But other than that, these are
These
virtually
are
identical.
And I don't even think we'll get into it that Kylie would even suggest they're not identical images.
Right. The other image is a tight shot of just lips, and the lips are sort of oozing from the corners and down.
It's sort of heavily painted, almost as if it's wet paint that's been painted on with a brush
And
onto
it's
the lips,
dripping.
and it's dripping down. You mentioned the goth look before, the melting look, like the Dali. If you guys might be familiar, the melting clocks is his.
That's
is,
right.
is Dali's signature.
And if you're looking at these two things, they are virtually identical. These are pictures that are clearly one is invoking the other, and I'll tell you, Vlada's came first.
Yeah.
So Kylie is clearly doing her version of Vlada's painting. This would be as if you sat and posed like Mona Lisa and I painted you, and you wore a wig.
So
to give you an idea, they are clearly. I don't even think Kylie would say that she's not copying the image.
So Vlada comes forward with her lawyer, and she makes a demand of Kylie, right?
Yeah.
And the demand is, look, you are stealing my stuff.
I copyrighted that stuff. It's my art.
It's my art. It's my copyright. You're stealing it, and clearly Kylie is stealing it because we've said the images
In
are
the
too
colloquial
similar.
sense, she is stealing the
Yeah.
the image, the idea of the image.
The idea of the image. And so you are therefore violating my copyrights. You're guilty of copyright infringement.
And you got a deep pocket, Kylie.
And you got a
so
deep
you
pocket.
better pay up because I'm a cosmetician. I've got a few followers, but you got this huge lip kit line, and you're trading on my art.
Right.
So she's very upset, and she's threatening a lawsuit. So
And-
that got us thinking.
And Kylie actually did remove these two images, I believe, from her Instagram page in the face of the nasty letter that she got from Vlada's lawyers.
I think that's right. She did look. No one likes to be told they're a copycat and they're lame. She got some bad press over this. This became something that swirled around. We did a story on it, and I think she took down the images. Maybe not because she faced legal peril, but because it's kind of lame to be called a copycat, right?
So here's what we know, Derek. We know three things. Number one, the images are identical for all material respects. Number two, Vlada complained. And number three, Kylie removed the images upon receiving the complaint from her Instagram page. So therefore, the conclusion is that Vlada had a good legal claim, and in fact, Kylie did violate the copyrights that Vlada owned. Is that
Au
right?
contraire.
Au
contraire. So look. As a legal matter, Jason and I think, are in complete agreement. She didn't do anything wrong here.
Kylie
I
did
mean,
nothing
Kylie,
wrong.
this
Right.
is in the nature of imitation, homage. What she did was not take Vlada's art. So this brings us into the realm of copyright. In copyright, you can protect your original expression of an idea.
But not the
idea
itself. Right.
Not the idea itself. So if Kylie were to take Vlada's image itself and put it on her own Instagram page, that's copyright infringement.
Right.
You can't just take someone's picture. But if she wanted to do her own version and be inspired by that idea and create her own expression of it, even if it is virtually identical, that's no problem. No problem under copyright.
Yeah, so while Kylie may have stolen from Vlada or borrowed from Vlada, the idea for the photos, the images of the lips, the fingers crossing the lips.
That's right.
Or the image of the paint oozing from the lips.
Is not copyrightable.
She may have borrowed that idea. The expression was different. You had a different photographer taking a different picture. It was printed out on a different medium, a different piece of paper, basically.
That's right.
And it was a different model and even if it was the same model, it was at a different time in a different place.
Photographer, different.
Right.
It is framed the exact same way, but this is no different than I loved Home Alone as a movie as a kid, right? But that poster, the iconic picture of Macaulay Culkin holding his face and going,
That was stolen. That was borrowed.
was originally borrowed from the Scream.
Yeah.
But I could also put it on my Instagram and sit in front of my house and go like this and say, I'm Home Alone.
Right.
No problem with that at all. I'm clearly invoking it. I'm paying
Right.
homage to it. I've not violated a copyright to that movie poster. I just haven't done it.
No, you haven't. As a matter of fact, you could even launch a new movie called Derek's by Himself.
That's right. Which is my usual life.
With your hands on your face, with this exact same pose as Macaulay Culkin, with the exact same haircut as Macaulay Culkin,
Right.
with that baby soft skin of an 11-year-old as
and call
Macaulay
it
Culkin.
Jew Alone, and there would be no problem with that, Jason.
Derek alone, and that would be no problem. Look, art is always created on top of what became before it. There are no original expressions. There are just the way in which there are no original ideas. It is just the expression of the idea that is original. And here she has expressed that, Kylie has, in her own way, and that is completely clear of any copyright violation.
That's right. So I think she's clean on copyright. I think we've come to that conclusion. Copyright is not where you could bring a valid legal claim against Kylie Jenner for what she did in this instance. Trademark is a different issue.
Different story altogether.
Trademark's another story. So trademark is about the origin of the goods and how consumers look at brands. So for instance, the Nike swoosh, that is a trademark. When you see the swoosh, you think that those goods you're buying come from Nike.
Right.
And you trust in that, and that is a brand that they protect by trademarking. If someone were to create a counterfeit Nike good with a swoosh, that's a violation of Nike's trademark. The problem is that's when you enter things into the stream of commerce and when you actually have a chance to confuse consumers. What Kylie did was post these images to sort of drum up promotion for her makeup line. She wasn't actually using them as the logo on her box, right, Jason?
That's right. So you know, there are a few classic ones. The most famous trademarks in history, I think there are three. Nike, I think, at least in American history.
The swoosh is huge.
Nike is big. We have the Golden Arches,
Yep.
right? And we have the Coca-Cola label, the famous script line of the Coca-Cola. I love the Coca-Cola example.
It's a big one.
Because not only is that copyrighted, somebody actually drew that and drew Coca-Cola. Now, for copyright purposes, you or I could write Derek's Cola or Jason's Cola in that exact same script,
Sure.
and that would be just fine. But if we write Coca-Cola in that script and then put it on our own soda, that would be a trademark violation, not a copyright violation, because we are taking the mark, the representation of the product, and we are using it to sell our own product and therefore creating a confusion in the marketplace as to what is associated with what.
That's right, and it's different perspectives. So copyright is trying to protect people. It's trying to incentivize people to create expressions, right?
Yep.
It's like we want original authors out there to create ideas, and the only way to convince people to do that is to protect their ideas and their expressions.
So I can't just go and write 50 Shades of Grey
Right.
and call it by Jason Beckerman and call it the exact same, write the exact same text.
That's right.
I'm taking somebody else's copyright.
Well, trademark is motivated by something entirely different. That's for not that the motivating purpose behind it is to not confuse consumers, right? When I pick up a Coke can, I know that they follow that secret Coke recipe. I know exactly what that's going to taste like. If you were to pick up my counterfeit Coke, you're going to get different sugar water, and you're not going to be happy.
So bringing it back to the situation at hand, it is conceivable that Vlada could go forward and say, look, Kylie Jenner, by virtue of putting out an advertisement for her makeup line, using this image, you are confusing the consumer into believing that it's actually Vlada's makeup line and not Kylie's makeup line. The difficulty that in this case with that, and why Kylie ultimately would not be found liable for trademark infringement,
I don't think
is
Vlada
because
has a makeup
Vlada
line.
doesn't have a makeup line. Vlada is what was the term you were using?
Cosmetician? A makeup artist?
Yeah, you were using. Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought you used something different, which I really liked, and I was going to steal without any credit to you at all. But is a makeup artist. She paints people's faces with makeup, which is fantastic and good for her, and she's made it quite a good success for herself from everything we've seen. But she's not in the same business, so Kylie is not stealing her customers from her by using this, because Kylie also does not do makeup art. Right. She creates a lipstick line.
Right.
They're simply not in the same business. Consumers are not going to be confused. Also, Kylie well brands what she does as Kylie's Lip Kit.
Her name's all over it. And so there's no confusion. You have to show a likelihood of confusion in the market, and you're not going to get there with Kylie.
That's right.
The name Kylie is all over the lip kit.
Right.
And of course it is. So no one's confused when they pick up the Kylie lip kit that I thought I was getting Vlada makeup. No one thinks that.
So
that's a big difficulty, probably an insurmountable hurdle.
To wrap this all up, there's a lot of Kardashian Jenner haters out there, but you really do have to applaud what Kylie Jenner has been able to accomplish in really just a few years. I mean, she first appeared on the Kardashian show in 2007, but she was a girl, a young girl, and she's 20 years old now. I think she really came into the zeitgeist at about 17.
Yeah.
So it's been 3, maybe 4 years since she's really tried to make her mark in not only this makeup line, but in business generally, and she has succeeded.
She's undeniably a mini mogul right now. I mean, she's a big part of that family's success right now. There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it. And I think just to, the rich get richer, I think that she also is clear of any legal liability for this act.
I think that's right. Now, before we depart from this, I want to talk quickly about where there are problems, because we make it sound like Kylie's in the clear. But is everyone in the clear if you just do your own version of something? Doesn't work quite like that. These things do protect. There was an earlier lawsuit that we covered, which was about it was about a Donald Trump bobblehead doll. So someone had created and copyrighted a particular bobblehead figurine of Donald Trump. He was in a suit. He's wearing the red "Make America Great Again" hat.
Red tie. His feet are pointed a specific way. He's looking in a specific direction. Everything. It's a work of art that somebody created.
And he copyrighted it in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office,
or the U.S. Copyright Office.
Or the U.S. Copyright Office. I apologize. And he sued someone who was making knockoffs of his bobblehead doll.
Yeah.
So his bobblehead doll looked a particular way. The knockoff was identical.
Yeah.
This could be a problem.
So
right, Jason?
Mike Walters, who didn't quite, who came to us sort of asking questions about why it is that we thought that Kylie Jenner was not liable for this. And well, wait a second. A couple of days ago, we were talking about the Donald Trump knockoff bobblehead, and you said that was likely it was a copyright violation, and we sort of tried to break down these distinctions. They're hard to see. I mean, this is not easy stuff.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, there is a distinction in that one, the Donald Trump bobblehead is a true work of art that somebody has created. They've entered into commerce, and somebody else came along and created the exact same product and then try to sell it themselves.
So they're directly trying to profit off your piece of art. So
Yes.
that's an entirely different situation than what the Kylie copycat stuff looks like is homage, right?
Yes.
She's not trying to pass off Vlada's picture. It's clear that it's not Vlada's picture. It just looks like the same concept being expressed. But that's her own expression, so she has her own copyright
Right.
over that. Here, if you're trying to sell a deliberate knockoff, a counterfeit good of that sort,
Yep.
you're really going to violate that copyright.
Right. So difference. Hope you guys understand the distinction. You know, honestly, this is very complicated stuff. Members of the Supreme Court trip over this stuff all the time. But in this case, I think it's pretty clear the distinction between what the Donald Trump guy did and what Vlada and Kylie did.
Yeah, so
here.
if anyone was worried about doing Home Alone homages or Rocky homages, my whole engagement photo shoot was that copyright infringement. I had my Rocky sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
Free to do it.
It may have been. Who painted the scream?
It was in really poor taste. Oh, Edvard Munch.
Oh, there we go.
All right, mail time.
Mail time.
Remember to write in your questions and comments to behindthebar@tmz.com. The first one up is from Jerry. Can Donald Trump legally take away citizenship from people convicted of burning the U.S. flag, either under current law or by creating a new law?
Where to start with this, Jason? This was a recent tweet by Donald
man.
Trump where he
Yeah.
was upset about flag burning. And he
Right.
said people who burn flags should either have their citizenship revoked or serve jail time.
Right.
What do you think about that comment? Let's break it down.
So Jerry asked two questions: whether under current law they could be either imprisoned or have their citizenship revoked, and could he make new law? So the answer is no.
No, it's fairly settled.
Yeah, the Supreme Court has ruled on this. I believe it was a 9-0 decision.
No,
said-
89 and 90. They were 5-4 decisions. They're but they're nonetheless precedent.
Oh well,
Yes.
take that up.
No, but they were Texas v. Johnson in 89 and another decision in 90. They were close because people don't like flag burners.
Yeah.
But it is such a clear expression of symbolic speech, which is protected by the First Amendment.
Absolutely, you are allowed to protest in any way you want. It's a fundamental American freedom, and therefore burn away. As unseemly as it might be, it might upset people. You are nevertheless allowed to burn the flag. The Supreme Court has said so. Different question in terms of whether or not, let me jump forward for a second. Could they create new law? Sure. We could amend the Constitution, which is what it would take. There's a process within the Constitution for how to amend it. It's happened 27 times.
27 or 26?
26 or 27 amendments to the Constitution, the most famous being the first 10, the Bill of Rights. It's amended. There's a process for that. You could amend it, and you could say burning the flag is hereby outlawed, and if you do it, you are subject to being thrown in prison.
Right.
You are subject to being sent to another country, any country that will have you. All these things are possible.
But amendments are tough.
So
Two-thirds of the states need to sign up for the amendment. That's really hard to ratify an amendment.
Yeah, so let's put that aside for a second.
Could
Let's
you
get
pass
back
a
to-
law, Jason?
Could you pass a law? No. Congress could pass no law because obviously no law Congress can pass can trump pardon the pun, can overcome what
The
it says
supreme
in
law of the land.
The supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution, right? But what about this, Derek? I mean, what about this idea that there are two forms of penalties that Donald Trump suggests? One is imprisonment, and the other is deportation, is having your having your citizenship revoked.
So if you take as a hypothetical that we amend the Constitution and you're allowed to ban flag burning, the punishment could only be jail or prison. You can certainly say we deprive people of their liberty all the time for various crimes that we deem under the law. However, revoking citizenship is not allowed. It's not allowed constitutionally because the Eighth Amendment, there's been decisions that say under the Eighth Amendment this is cruel and unusual. And moreover, under the Fifth Amendment due process clause, there's a bar against what's called punitive expatriation. You can't revoke someone's citizenship. That is a right that is inalienable. And really, it makes sense, Jason. What do you do with someone who's no longer a citizen but was born here? Where do they go?
Where do they go? What other country is going to take them? They're not a citizen of the United States. You can't apply. When you're not a citizen of one country, you can't apply for citizenship to another. I suppose you could go Julian Assange and go stay at the Ecuadorian embassy.
Sure. You're a man or woman adrift at that point. If you have no citizenship, you have no country, you're really a free agent. It just wouldn't work.
To the point we were making earlier, notwithstanding the Fifth and the Eighth Amendments, you could amend the Fifth and the Eighth Amendments to say that we're going to deprive you of your citizenship and cast you adrift on a barge out in the Atlantic. There is nothing you cannot amend the Constitution to say. We could reintroduce slavery throughout the 50 states through amendment to the Constitution if we wanted to.
That's just our charter. Everyone's just got to sign up for it.
That's right.
And if you get everyone on board, we've banned alcohol before, then we take it back.
So, no, impossible to punish anyone under current law for burning a flag.
Yeah.
All right, next one up is from, the next two are actually about Taylor Swift, because there was that guy came back on the radio and he said some things. So first one's up from Nick4819. I would just say that...
My favorite Nick of all.
No.
Yours too?
I like 3714, actually.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
I would just say, well, she was grabbing my ass. Damn it. I would just say, well, she was grabbing my ass, so I grabbed hers. There's no proof she isn't grabbing his ass in the photo, and it looks like she is. There you go. Case dismissed. His word against her word with no witnesses.
Interesting. Nick is judge, jury, and executioner.
I like it. Nick 8675309. I think we need to discuss this a little more. So first, he has not accused her of grabbing his ass. Now, had he been as quick on his feet as you are and made the counter allegation that she grabbed his ass first,
I think now we got two cases of sexual assault. Personally, I think you just have more sexual assault.
I'm not sure that me assaulting Derek gives Derek license to reverse sexual assault me.
You don't get to. It's not Hammurabian. There's no sexual assault for a sexual assault. It's not eye for an eye. What it would seem like is two sexual assaults. Now there is some concept in fighting. They say they don't press charges when it's mutual combat.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that in a sexual assault context.
But mutual combat is based on this idea that you are in some way consenting to the assault itself.
That's right.
By virtue of engaging in a Donnybrook with an opponent, you are sort of saying, well, I'm allowed to be punched now too. By sexually assaulting someone, you're not really allowing them to sexually assault you. It's sort of a silly hypothetical, but I kind of like it in that way.
I can see the intuitive appeal. I remember famously Mike Tyson said, I served a prison sentence for raping a woman, therefore I should be able to go rape a woman. He always denied it and said I never raped anyone, and therefore I've earned a rape because I've already served the time for it. Of course, that's nonsense, but it does have an intuitive appeal.
It's sort of like if you catch your wife cheating on you, you're like, well, I've got one in the bank now.
Yeah,
and at some point in the future, if I happen to, just to be caught in a bad situation, I can just say, well, I'm cashing in my get out of jail free card.
Right. Someone keeps a journal of these.
Can you imagine people sort of encouraging their wives to cheat on them?
Right. I think there's,
Yeah. You had nothing more to say on that?
I've got nothing more on that.
Parker, rescue us.
All right, last one's from Abby, same topic. This was from her Red Tour that happened in 2013 and 2014. Why did she take so long to go to court?
Well, dear Abby, she did not go to court on this. You remember he sued her because he had lost his job as a result of her accusation that he had sexually assaulted her.
And he said, you falsely accused me, and I lost my job. Therefore, those are my damages, and now I'm suing you. So he dragged her.
For defamation, and then she countersued him for the sexual assault. And she said at the time, look, I never would have done this, but you are now suing me for defamation, so I'm coming back at you, which is not uncommon, by the way. When people are sued, they frequently will figure out, it happens in the business context all the time, partners who have broken apart, partnerships that have dissolved, one partner will sue the other, and the other partner will say, well, hey, I really didn't have an issue with you, but now that we're in court, and now that I need to defend myself, I'm going to countersue you for the actions you took. So I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think look, there's two things you can do when you can get sued. You can either just answer, they say, you just say deny the allegations that the guy's made, or you countersue, and this is very common to give you additional leverage to say, not only did I not wrong you, you wronged me.
Yeah,
and it's very common.
Derek's
in
point
litigation.
about leverage is a very good one. You know, you never want to actually go to court and have to go before a jury to resolve a case because A, it's incredibly expensive, and B, once you get in front of a jury, it can be a crapshoot. Instead, you want to put leverage on the person to resolve the case for no money or for a very small amount of money. And in this case, you know, that Taylor Swift is asserting that leverage and has actually sort of, I think, got the better argument.
And really, I remember when she filed her suit, he sort of woke a sleeping giant, right? Because Taylor Swift's got very deep pockets, much deeper than this radio host who lost his job. And she actually said, "I'm now here to prove a point that sexual assault is a problem in our society, and I'm actually going to donate the proceeds of this lawsuit to charities that work in that area." So he really, by filing his suit against her, woke a sleeping giant.
We said it the last time. Assuming what she says about his actions are true, he grabbed the ass of the wrong woman. He really did. And I don't mean to say that there's ever a right time to grab anybody's ass, but in this case, just as
you found yourself in a hole, Jason.
Yeah, I can't.
Because if you say there's a wrong ass to grab, then there must be a right one out there.
Well, ladies and
that
gentlemen
note.
of the jury, thanks very much, everybody, for joining in. Remember, please download the podcast. Even if you like watching on YouTube, it helps us an absolute ton if you can just take out your phones and go to the YouTube page, the iTunes podcast store, subscribe to the podcast. You don't even have to listen to it within the podcast, but nevertheless, subscribe.
Just click 5 stars, review it. Do your thing.
Look, let's baby steps. Subscribe to it. Also, watch us on YouTube and email us with any questions, topics you'd like us to cover at behindthebar@tmz.com.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more nerdy deep dives into the legal side of celebrity news, hit our subscribe button right here.
And check out our previous episodes over here.